Hey, everybody, welcome back to Leaders Lead. I'm Zach Husted, and I have Colin Creech here with me tonight. We are going through some really rad leadership lessons. Colin, why don't you introduce yourself, man?
Yeah, I am a force recon Marine, a not successful professional base jumper, and I currently work in human capital with a Fortune 50 company. Yeah, and I think one of my newest and proudest endeavors is the CEO of ADA, along with the founder Mike Sorelli. And it is a lifestyle apparel brand, but it's got a very positive message about our pillars are mental, spiritual, physical, and we're surrounded with an awesome community of everyday warriors. So you're rocking that. You're rocking the shirt. I'm rocking a shirt. I do have my hat. I put it on another episode, so it's hidden in one of the episodes. Go find it. That Zach's got up. But yeah, really honored and thankful to be here.
Yeah, thanks for being here. And I gotta say,
Mm.
like, authentically, I'm the guy that when I go to work and I go in the office, I rock a hat, and people look at me
Yeah.
like, "No, dude, I'm a hat guy," and this is a super comfy hat, and I love it. I actually wear this hat at work.
Hell yeah.
Um, and like I get on conference calls and I wear it and people are like, "What's that?" And I tell them. And so it's
Like,
fun.
share, subscribe.
Yeah, like I tell them about it and they're like, "What's that?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, let me tell you about
Yeah.
it." So it's funny. So if any of those people are watching this, you'll see it.
Mm.
And for those of you that are also watching this, I apologize that there must be someone coming into my house right now because my dogs are going bananas. That's how we do with this. We're high
It's the
tech,
everyday
high
life.
budget.
Everyday life.
Every day
Yeah.
we are high tech here on Leaders
Yeah.
Lead, and we have high budget. Um,
My AirPods.
got
Yeah.
AirPods. I got a
Yeah.
borrowed microphone. I mean, like
Heck
we're
yeah.
legit. Colin,
Mm.
hey man, um, talk to me a little bit about um, you know,
Mm.
what's life like honestly outside of work, outside of what you're doing with all these things. Like,
Mm.
what's a day look like for you?
That's a good question. I've been working on more consistency. I think creating a schedule for yourself, especially with healthy habits, it's been really beneficial for me. Um, I've I've been working on a regular wake up time, which I usually set the alarm for 5, and then every once in a while it just might slip to like a little or later than that. And then I get up, I do if it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I do our daily reflection post on ADA, which is awesome on live_ADA, because then it's kind of also a way that I have to start thinking and reflecting. So it's kind of a really nice way to start the day. Usually, I probably one of my unhealthy habits will take a little bit of pre workout or a good amount, the prescribed dosage of pre workout, and then do a workout, and then usually it's shortly after that, crushing the work day. Get done with the work day. It's usually going straight into working on ADA, and and working on a lot of the things that we're doing that will be released soon. We've got a lot of new shirts. We've got some new hats, which I promised, you got to give me your address, not on the podcast, and I'll send you one. And then I, if I can get some time with friends, and I don't live very far from my parents intentionally. So if I can get some time with them, which, sorry, mom and dad, I need to come over soon. I know we got dinner planned in a few days. And then, try and shut
Jennifer,
it
I'm
down.
sorry. I'm
Yeah.
Jennifer. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm taking this time.
Yeah, Jennifer, Randy, they're awesome parents. It's my fault, so they raised me right. Um, yeah, that's kind of the day, and I think there's a lot. There's probably a lot more with that, but they're pretty awesome days, right? You can't complain, and that's that. I think it's one of those where I'm constantly trying to adjust or add things or take things away, and we talked about it a little bit before, but like sleep has definitely been something I've been working on too, because I think it's probably one of the most important parts of health too. And I suck at it. So it's one of those, you can work at it, but it takes being intentional.
Yeah. Um, yeah. It does take some intentional effort to
Mm.
like have a schedule and
Mm.
be on sleep.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that people don't understand that like the compounding effect. sleep can have on you. Like,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. And um, it's quite nuts.
Yeah.
When when you when you think about all the stuff that you've done,
Mm,
right? You've done some pretty amazing things. Force Recon Marine, we talk about what that is,
mhm.
what happens with the Force Recon Marine. You walked us through that. You're trying not to get beat up for your explanation of it.
It's fine. I deserved it.
We talked a little bit
Mm,
about what you do with ADA
mm,
and your day job. Um, what what is it like when you get put in a pressure situation
mm,
that where you have to make a high pressure, high stake decision?
mm,
And how has being like in these advanced situations of force recon,
mm,
security force advisor roles impacted that? Because sometimes you're making like instantaneous decisions in those roles, right?
mm.
And you're dealing with limited data. You're dealing with legit life and death situations. And I mean, we don't need to go through the specifics of those, and I'm
Mm,
not asking you to.
mm.
Um, but how have those situations positioned you in all the things that you're doing today to help you be able to take risk?
I think first and foremost, it was, because of all the training and all the preparation and because, I think there's a term that I use a lot is, and it's from the military, is train how you fight. And I think that's really
Mm,
stuck because I think there's, maybe you believe in luck, maybe you don't. I don't hate the thought of it, but I think there's, the preparation versus luck. And I'd rather lean on preparation to prepare me for any of these unknown situations versus maybe it'll go well, maybe it won't. And I think that train how you fight mentality, because if you can make the training as difficult and as challenging as possible, it one, everybody will be more proficient, but two, you'll be using more of that muscle memory versus just we'll see how it goes. But I think with that, um, you know, especially with anything that's high risk, there's high risk and there's high reward, but there's also the chance of really miserable failure. And I think embracing those failures is really important too, because I think for me, if you think you're going to get through life without fumbling something or dropping the ball or having a failure, I I'd like to meet you because I haven't had that experience myself. And I think you just mentioned it. Maybe, I can't remember if it was offline or on the podcast, but like, going through an opportunity where you lose your job. And it's like, well, what do I do? And there's such a, that's such a time where you can just sit on the couch and just, this really sucks. Or this is also an opportunity to say like, well, okay, take the moment, take a knee, but what can I do after that? And I think that's something that I learned a lot as a force recon Marine, because a lot of the times I was lower enlisted ranks, and a lot of the time it just sucked. But I also learned a lot from that too. And I think that was critical. I think last but not least, I think especially when you're making those decisions, and sometimes they're instantaneous, you may not always have the 100% solution. So I think coming into something with, okay, I can get as much of the data as I have, and I have to just make a decision with that data. I think you can sit around and I wish I had this, I wish I had that, but at some point, what if you got a 70% solution, 80% solution, as long as you know that it's at a point where there is a good chance of success, then you got to act on it if that's all you're going to get. Because sometimes you can wait around too long, and that
yeah.
opportunity is going to pass. There's, I think, a quote, I think it's Dwight D. Eisenhower, that said, plans are nothing, but planning is everything. And I think there's a lot with that, but it kind of goes to what I said at the beginning. Like, I think preparation is really important, and whether or not like the plan goes as it's supposed to, there's still an importance of planning. I think that goes back to a lot we talked about with ADA. Like, just those healthy things for yourself every day, and trying to find that very positive community
Yeah.
that you can get through anything, anything high risk, whether, but also just anything that sucks too, with a positive community and a healthy group of individuals and doing those healthy things.
Yeah. I think you nailed it. I mean, my opinion on this is um, the preparation um,
Yeah.
makes all the difference in the world, and again, you don't just jump into these things, and you don't just become this person and have all these experiences.
Yeah.
It's like they the military and all the training that we've been exposed to preps us for these things, and it helps get us ready to be able to lead in these moments
Yeah.
and understanding how to do it. So yeah, I completely agree with you. And it actually makes us be able to make decisions. It's quite interesting in the corporate world. A lot of people can't make decisions,
Yeah.
and they want to spin on data, and they're like, show me how many different ways that you can do this, show me how many
Yeah.
different well, let's get this for data. And it's like, you know what, sometimes you just gotta make a decision.
Mm.
And um I think that you're right. You gotta make gut decisions. You gotta trust a little intuition, and you gotta be able to make a decision. So
I think it's that
uh,
term in the military we hear a lot, but it's a bias for action, and I think to your point, it's just about data too, brilliance in the basics. You can slice and dice it all day long, and it'd be good to, if there's time, because you never know what other things you might uncover, but also, you know, there's still the brilliance in the basics, so you've got some very clear data points that are validated, and these are accurate data points. Then let's bias for action. Let's do something.
yeah, I mean, you can be paralyzed by trying to understand too much stuff,
Analysis
right? You
paralysis. Yeah.
it's it's unreal, and at some point you just have to be able to take the step,
Yeah.
one step at a time, right? And
Absolutely.
move forward. And it's no different than just life. You got to
Yeah.
be able to just move forward.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's scary, but guess what? You take the step, you learn what's around the corner, and you prepare, and you got your head on a swivel. You're looking. And
Yeah.
it's no different than in the business world, right? Um,
Yeah.
and that's what the greatness of what the military taught us is. You can take that step. You have a team of people around you, a team of experts that you can rely on, and everyone plays that role.
Yeah. And I think because you said it, like, you've got so many people, especially in the military, but also especially in the corporate world, that have probably potentially already done what you're doing, and you can learn from their mistakes. And I think, what's the term? You can't teach an old dog new tricks, but I would like to be an old dog and still learn new tricks, because, I
Hmm.
think there's there's always potentially some new aspect of it, but you can get so much of the information already because somebody's already done or tried something, and what worked, what didn't, and adapt, and make it your own too. I think so
Hmm.
much that I find is hard sometimes when I'm like, oh, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this my way. I'm trying to do it because I'm trying to do it the way that is I see so and so doing it. I think you have to also make things your own and unique, where it's applicable. Everybody, where it's applicable.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, man. Colin,
yeah,
great, great conversation on this, on how to make decisions and high stake stuff.
mm,
It's relatable to every day in the business world. It's about leadership. It transcends regardless of where you're at.
yeah,
I think it's absolutely fantastic. We talked a little bit in the last couple episodes of what we can do to lift you up, how we can
yeah,
support you. Um, I just want to make sure that people understand completely where you sit,
yeah.
who you are, what you're about. Let's hear it again.
Yeah, I would say, for me, and they've been unique every episode, right? But I think something that's coming to me right now is, what you can do for me is you can text a friend, somebody, anybody, right? That maybe even haven't talked to in a while, and just check in on them. I think uh, so many times, we don't do it ourselves when we need help, but you never know when you might reach out to that somebody that you haven't reached out to in a long time, and they might really need your help too. So, just keeping those lines of communication open. And I have 8 rules for my life, and one that I'll share today. Number one is it's okay to ask for help.
That's a rad rule.
It's I
Um,
had to write it down. It was important for me.
yeah, yeah, that's a good rule. I think that's awesome. Hey, everybody, Colin, what a great guy. He's got a heart of gold. He's on the right path. He's doing some great things for for the communities that he serves, for the people he's leading. I ask that you go, you check out Live Atta, you follow him on all the major platforms. Um, Show him some support, show him some love. Let's help him. Let's help make this thing infectious. Let's help bring some attention to it. If you're not buying it, that's cool. What can you do to share it? Because I think there's a lot of people that can hear this message. Um, I think it's a really worthy cause of for people to hear it. So, Colin, thanks for sticking with us. Question 4 out of
Thank you.
question 5. We're looking forward to having you back for the finale.
Looking forward
And
to it.
yeah, it's gonna be pretty epic.
Awesome.
Um, Thanks everybody for tuning in. We got one more left. Colin, I don't want this to come to an end, dude. This is rad.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's been a privilege. So
Yeah,
we'll have to do it again one day if you'll have me. So
yeah. Well, we'll see.
oh,
And we got to do
but
like my best like tough guy voice. I don't have one, so
playing hard to get. I appreciate it. So
yeah. All right, everybody. We'll talk soon on the
awesome.
next episode.